Hey y'all, hey. So yesterday I was listening to the Wiley show and he went early. He went live very early and he put some hours in, child. He was going to put some hours in when I saw the title. He was saying that Mob Radio, aka Milagro Grams, was going to get arrested. This is all allegedly, and this was Wiley's foolishness over there. And I get it. People are going to put all this stuff in the title to draw people into their channel. So I think we all get that. Um, so he was referencing this tweet from Dennis Byron, who is also a YouTuber and, to my understanding, a writer. And it's something, I don't pay him a lot of attention, this Dennis Byron person. I really don't. I noticed that he has some type of relationship with Crystal, who works for Rolling Out. Now, I like Crystal, but I noticed that they do have some type of relationship. It's something about him I don't trust because he gets a little too excited to see other black people going down for me, you know. And I understand you don't like Tasha K, you don't like this one, you don't like that one. But it's something very weird about the way some black people put that image out, how they all in the thick of it, of taking another black person down and with a smile on their face. It's something about that for me that don't sit well with this Dennis Byron guy. I don't know his relationship with these people. I know he and Tasha K were going back and forth at one time. But it's just a way he handles some of these situations. But he posted on Twitter that a blogger or bloggers, I think Armand was saying bloggers, are going to get arrested behind the whole Tory Lanez trial for issuing threats. I guess it's going to fall under terroristic threats. I don't know who he's talking about. I think I said that before when I was talking about the Tory Lanez case, that there are several YouTubers that are covering that Tory Lanez case. And either they're based there in Los Angeles or California, or they're going there to cover that on their channel. And so we have absolutely no clue who they're talking about. And I do agree with Armand about that because Armand and Milagro have probably the bigger YouTube names. People are automatically going to think that it's one of them, on top of the fact that Milagro has been pushing that narrative for Tory Lanez. And so, yeah, people naturally went straight to her, right? I agree with Armand. The Dennis person probably did that intentionally. They may be trying to scare them from going to the sentencing, which I believe is coming up. And I think they're looking at 13 years. They're looking to try to get him 13 years. It could be under 13. We don't know. But I think they were saying that they're looking at somewhere in that range. I think 13 years is a lot, but who am I? Like I said before, this is not for me to decide. I'm not the judge and jury in this. I do think 13 years that's a lot. There are people committing murder and they walking their ass around right now, right? So, when we really put these things in perspective, now I'm not saying that he shouldn't do any time, because I do feel like, because he's definitely been out here doing a lot of stuff. His name has been coming up in a lot of situations that he probably was able to walk away from, that he should have been able to walk away from before. And I know that one thing shouldn't have anything to do with the other, but yeah, maybe he needs to sit down for some type of time. But 13 years sound like a lot to me. Let me know what y'all think about that. But yeah, so Armand and Milagro went live. She, of course, went on social media and kind of went in on the whole thing, because people were saying in comments on blogs as well that they felt like it was her. And it reminds me of that, what's her name? Shirley Ralph situation with Judge Joe Brown. Like, people just naturally automatically went to Judge Joe Brown. But if you're old enough to know and remember, there were no black judges on TV in the early 90s, right? I think the first one was Judge Maybelline, and because of the success of her show, is why you started to see the other ones. And that was going into the 2000s. There were no black judges. Judge Wapner and Judge Judy, whom were both not black, were pretty much running that whole court TV scene at that time. And Moesha probably at that time was one of the only black shows on TV. So I never thought it was Judge Joe Brown, but people naturally went to him because of who he is. Um, and so it's the same thing. People are naturally going to Milagro because of her connection with this Tory Lanez trial and her the way she's viewed around it, the way she's been handling covering it. Um, but I guess we'll find out who they're talking about, or maybe we won't, because maybe, like some people are saying, maybe Dennis just put that out there, just to put that out there to maybe try to scare them from not going because they don't really want them to cover it. Um, which I don't understand what does that have to do with him? It's not gonna make nobody watch him because he running Armand and Milagro off, right? But I digress, child. What do y'all think about this whole conversation? I would hope that people are carrying themselves with some form of integrity and dignity, right? Tory Lanez is his own person. Even if he is paying you, I'm sure he's not paying you to jeopardize your freedom like that. Nor should anyone allow anyone to pay them to do anything like that. So I hope that the whole situation is like some people are saying, this Dennis Byron person is just trying to scare some of the YouTubers off from coming out to cover the sentencing part of what's left of this case. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And Wiley is Wiley. Wiley's always going to take a title. He's like O'Shea Duke Jackson to me. They take stuff and then they just put a bunch of stank on it and flip it up into whatever they want to make it into, and stay as far away from telling a bunch of lies as they possibly can while not really necessarily telling the truth. And that's kind of how they both come off to me. And I think Wiley really, he put a lot on that by making it sound as if he knew for sure it was Milagro. But then when I heard her going live, I realized that, yeah, because I think that something would have been said to her by now if it was in fact her. And then why would whoever told this Dennis Byron person this, why would they tell him and not tell anyone else? I agree with one of the YouTubers. I think her name is Everlyn. I think that's her name. I agree with her about that. Like, why would people tell him? Why would whoever told him tell him and not tell nobody else that's going out there? How would he be the only person with this information? And so you have to then wonder why he's doing it. Maybe he's trying to run Armand and Milagro off, and maybe even Nick at Night. Now, Nick at Night she stayed out of that. She stayed very biased in the conversation. She said she don't have no side. Armand as well. I think Armand has tried to say that as well, but sometimes people will associate you with other people and now you're involved in their stuff too because of his association with Milagro. People may try to pull Armand into it, whatever she got going on, even though he's never really said that he agreed with her. But what do you guys think about what this Dennis Byron guy put out there and just the way he carries himself around seeing in particular black women go down? Like, it's something about his attitude that I just can't get behind. I don't like the way he conducts himself in that way. He's supposed to be real media, which is another part of it. But let me know what y'all think about the whole conversation. Do you think it's Milagro? Do you think it's somebody else? And if you think it's another YouTuber, who do you think he's referring to? And if you don't watch Milagro or Armand or Nick at Night, are you running to Dennis Byron's channel? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.